Hi, my name is Deb Putnoy, and I am founder of the Drawing Lab and author of The Drawing Mind. In this video today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what the Drawing Lab approach is, and then I'm going to have you hear from some of my students and some of the teachers that I've worked with. So the Drawing Lab approach, it's a very kind of guided step-by-step approach to teaching you how to explore and access your drawing mind. And whether you're a teacher or an individual, you can use everything that I'm teaching you in the classroom or at home or with your family or in an organization to really open up the drawing process, not only as a tool for thinking, but as a tool to build community, to build mindfulness, to build connection, that the drawing is really a catalyst for so many different things. I will take you through the basics of mark making. What is mark making? Why are marks important? And then I'm going to really explore with you the idea of observation. And we are going to look at using drawing to connect deeper with our senses, our sense of listening, our sense of tasting, touch, smell, and also sight. And we really spend a long time kind of thinking about how when we draw in these different ways, when we draw to smell, we're not only just drawing kind of what we think the smell is, but we're really using our marks as a way to problem solve. So these are kind of explorations to kind of open up this idea that drawing is a way to challenge your brain, to build new neural pathways, to kind of help you build observation skills that we don't just observe with our eyes, we observe with all of our five senses. And by doing that, we become better scientists and better thinkers and better writers because we're more connected with the world around us. So as we're speeding around and doing our life, the drawing helps us kind of go slowly, center ourselves, and really pay attention to ourselves and the world around us. I like to think of it as kind of like a yoga experience that you can go through my different approach and then go back to the beginning and do it again. We go from marks to drawing to our senses to really thinking about sight, and then we go into drawing to our emotions and drawing self-portrait, and then really thinking about practice. How do we practice drawing over time so we have a flexible pencil? So the goal of all of my work is to really help you develop what I call a flexible pencil, a pencil that if you need to draw a sketch really quickly to map out a math problem or a science problem, or you're an architect and you want to draw a plan and you don't have your computer in front of you and you want to quickly sketch it like Frank Gehry, that you won't feel this kind of fear of like, I can't draw, or I don't know how to draw, or that the drawing doesn't get in your way. The drawing becomes a simple, easy tool that you can access at any time. Now I'm going to have you listen to some of my students and teachers that I've worked with in the past using the Drawing Lab approach.
The one rule I most remember is that there's no mistakes. So like you can't like erase what you've drawn. So if you think you messed up that line, it's just like, no, you have to keep going, and it just has to be like your own, and you just have to keep adding, and you can't think that like you failed at any point.
Drawing in school is, it's a fine art. They have their stigmas and they have their sort of conceptual beliefs of what drawing can and can't be. And a lot of the importance of drawing in art is almost that disruptive factor, really. Maybe even more than the actual output of work that's being made. So if you can disrupt a routine and a schedule and allow for a child or a teenager or even an adult to really feel essentially shaken up by an opportunity to draw in a classroom, I think that there is a lot of power in that, the disruptive element.
Once again, the problem solving with the feeling and touching, like, how am I going to solve this? Like, what part of my brain is going to help me draw this on a piece of paper? And like, what's going to help me say, oh, what texture is this? Or what's it feel like? Is it squishy? Is it hard? Is it soft? Or you don't really use that part of your brain.
There's like a gaping hole in education with this because, in school everything is very like cut and dry. Like everything is very clearly, you have to follow the rules. Like there's just certain things in school that you can't like negotiate. And I think in all the classes I've taken, it's just, here's the curriculum, like we expect you to do this to get a good grade. And I think this is the kind of thing where it's so far away from that idea. It's so like, you're gonna be good no matter what. Like, that's just not something people are told.
Understanding like the language of, you know, art and whatever you're trying to figure out, and putting that onto paper and figuring out what's gonna work best and how you're gonna do that best by using different colors, different shapes, different, you know, actual pencils or pieces of whatever you're using to make the art, but just kind of like taking that like language and putting it onto paper is the same way that you have to think of an idea and, you know, use the English language and say that idea out loud.
I would get so excited because Deb would do a lesson on holding the pencil different ways, or using different hands, or making dots, a certain, you know, experimenting with lines, and then they would do it. You know, the next time I'd see them doing it, I felt like it was very satisfying for me. So it must have been for them, right? To see them really implementing the things that we had talked about.
I mean, I still can't believe some of the pieces of artwork that we had up here in this class. It was, and they have to be able to have the permission to do it, but they also need the skills of how to do it. And a lot of conversations when we were on the Boston Common or on the VU Bridge is how to hold the pencil and how to make dark marks or light marks. And so they're definitely well versed in that kind of thing as well.
Deb Putnoy is a trained artist. She went to the museum school, she went to Tufts, she went to Harvard. But in addition to that, she has quite a bit of education training. She's worked in classrooms, public school classrooms, private school classrooms, after schools, as well as in museums. She's trained children, she's trained teachers, other professionals. She's got a very broad swath of experience. She's an incredible facilitator and a very warm-hearted, honest, down-to-earth person, and everybody wants to work with her, including me.
What's so great about Deb is that she's really able to connect with what individual students need, and she's very intuitive and giving in feedback and encouragement, but also just in insight.
So now that you've seen some of my students and listened to some of the teachers I've worked with, I hope you have a better sense of what the Drawing Lab approach is and what it can do for you both in the classroom or as an individual. Again, I would love to have your comments or anything that you want to share with me in the feed below. Let me know what you thought about today or if you have any questions. And I will see you tomorrow for the last video that will sum up all of the Drawing Lab approach and help you really understand that you have the power within you to draw.